How's everybody doing today? Alfred Flores, CEO President of New Age Electric. Today is the day. We are going to be going over Desktop LiveCount Pro 5.3. First, I'm just going to jump into how to just get this set up in Accubid first, and then one button click and the program should always open up. Once you have this set up, it should auto launch. So let's jump into it. Okay, so one of the ways you can do this is if you already have this open, your job, you can hit settings, options, takeoff. This will not be, it will be none at first, but when you open this up, you're gonna have two options, and depending on the version you have, it might say LiveCount and then LiveCount Cloud. In this case, LiveCount is the cloud version now, and then LiveCount Desktop is what's locally stored. In the Accubid version 14.1.2 and lower, those are, it should say LiveCount Cloud. LiveCount Cloud, and then just LiveCount. So it's a little bit different, but at least this is, if you're wondering what these two mean. So click that, make sure all of these are enabled. Enable the drill up, enable the LiveCount drill up, autocomplete, and then you want to auto link counts to lanes for LiveCount measurement. So you hit OK. Make sure this is checked, and as soon as you open up a drawing, it will auto launch LiveCount, and this is perfect. All you need is two screens and you're ready to rock and roll. Alright, so let's jump into LiveCount. So I have a sample drawing up, and this is not a takeoff tutorial. It's just basically to show you the functionality of what all this means. You will be a little intimidated. There's a lot of stuff up here, but like any other program, you're probably not going to use a lot of these, but it's good to know what everything means. And then, as you know, these are shortcuts. These are ribbons for shortcuts, and then everything down here is actually up here as well. So I'm going to start with the ribbon really quick. There's a file open, save, print, zoom in, zoom out, zoom full, zoom rectangle, and show and hide bird's eye window. So if you should have a mouse where you have a wheel, I'm pretty sure in this day every mouse should have a wheel by now. Basically how this works is you have your wheel and you should be able to click in your wheel. If you click in your wheel, that prompts it to pan. So you can pan this drawing. You can tell it's very, very smooth. There is absolutely no lag in this at all. It's very great. The wheel, where you can wheel in, wheel out, just like if you're scrolling an internet page, it zooms in a couple frames, so you can, and it's very smooth too. You can, go really fast, go real slow, and then you can pan around. It's, if you're familiar with programs like AutoCAD and InDesign and Photoshop, a lot of that stuff, it's all the same basic. They use the wheel to pan and they use the wheel to zoom in and zoom out. Very, very simple. If you're used to this program will be very easy to manipulate. Okay, so we'll go up to the next one. There's back and forward. I believe if there's multiple drawings, you can use this. Your measurement toolbar, annotations, view issues, download multiple drawings. So the program actually can be utilized with, I believe it's Plan Room, and then you can have links if you have Plan Room, and it's very cool. It can, if the GC puts drawings in there, you could just click this and it would auto load it up. I don't know too many people who use Plan Room anymore, but it's a very cool feature if you ever use it. But other than that, I'll show you. You drop a drawing, you start, and you're good to go. It literally maybe take like 10 or 15 seconds to do this. So the stuff like this you're probably never going to use. So let's jump into this select measurement. Multiple selects where you can, click this and then drag it, and it'll, select multiple items. You do a measurement. In this case, I got it set to count, and I'm gonna go over this a little later. Takes measurements. 1 second, let me take off the. Make sure it's lines first. You could take a measurement, from here to there, and you see it's right there. It's set. 1 inch equals 1 foot, so this is not the correct scale, but you get the gist. Gives you the length and whatnot. These will activate when you're in a takeoff. So add points, add disconnect points, edit points, copy and measure points, add 2 points. You can add 2 points and hit finish. You can undo, cancel, return, and I'll show you how to do that with just a click of your mouse. Edit your trace, select the trace, edit description, polar mode. Polar mode means orthogonal or straight lines. You can't go like on a diagonal. So if I go back to measurement, you can either put this on and then I gotta take this off again. 1 second. Basically, it's gonna go in straight lines. So if you get the gist of that. The other way that you can do it is to hold control, and I got a habit of using control because it just feels better to work with 2 hands versus the one. That's a personal preference, but you get the gist. So I usually have this off. You got measurement windows where you got a bunch of stuff on your drawing. This will tell you everything that's on there, what you're calling it. It's basically everything that you're calling it on your systems will appear on here. So you see some duplexes on here, some USBs. I got some lighting counts. Anything you call it, it's going to show up here. And then it's going to tell you your footages, how many you got of each, and it just shows you your drawing, and it should show you which drawing you're on too if you expand this all the way out. And you may not need this, you already know what drawing is, but it's good information to know. That's a drop down box for your measurements, and then this is your scale. You can click the button here. And the cool feature I like about this is you could still move around here and have this window open. And what happens is, you might click this button and you're in this room. Well, it's okay. You can still come down below and okay, 3/16. I want to hit 3/16. Hit OK, and then I'm good to go. Scale set. Scale is always going to be there. I would leave it there. You always want to double check your scale. Most important thing of all. You're going to have your project list. Right now, it's test 01. I'm not really saving nothing. You're going to have a project tree if you got multiple drawings. You're going to have properties. It's going to show you where everything is located from all the way from your user, desktop, my company folder, bids 21, and then test job. You can change it. You can name things here. You can call it, project size, default to scale, whatever you want to do. You can do this here too. You could click a new project. When you first get this in, like I haven't set this up as a new project, but you always want to create a folder, and this is really important. It's linked to a folder. So if you happen to move the folder, you're gonna break the link. So what I would do is I would create an Accubid LiveCount folder and keep that separate from your actual bid that holds the estimate file, the .es14 or 15, whichever version you're using. Just keep those separate so you can have these folders, and it's very easy because you could just drop a drawing in there, and then if you got to do an overlay for addendum, everything's in that folder, and it's separate from the itself. So it's a preference, but I would suggest you do that. You could scan drawings. So if you have a folder, and like I was telling you, if you drop stuff in a folder and you hit scan, it'll all show up, and all you got to do is click them and hit add, and then now they'll show up in here as multiple folders. So you might get a bid where, and this happens quite often, where you have the architecturals broken out, the electricals broken out, and then unless you want to combine them all, it will come up all broken out like this, and it's kind of annoying. So it's if you have a program to combine them, it's probably better. Sometimes they do that when there's 50 sheets per trade, and then you got 500 drawings. Yeah, I could see why they might want to do that, but if you do it this way, at least you can control what you want to import and whatnot in here. So keep that in mind. You click your drawing list, that shows you all the drawings. Drawing tree, drawing property. It basically tells you where everything is, the description, the project, and the size of actual paper. So these are 30 by 42s. You want to do a new drawing, you can click a new drawing. Like I said, go in your folder. And here, I believe I got it. Bids, and you could just select the thing and you can add it here too. This is your, as you can see, 59 pages. You can click this, scroll up and down, and jump from any drawing you want. Now, if you notice this one's bold, this one has takeoffs on it. So if you're scrolling around and you're jumping from 1 to 50, and then you notice that there's a drawing that it's not bold, you can actually, maybe you missed taking that drawing off. It's kind of a double check in my, I'll be like, why is this not bold? So I'll jump to it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's a one line. So all right, it's not that, I don't need to take it off. You can hit refresh all, select the drawings, and then basically jump back in. Refresh, same thing. Refresh from plan room, refreshes the link. These are like added toolbars. This is like auto count. I'll leave that for another video. Text, you can add text on here anywhere you want. I could put test, change the colors, change the font, the size, change the colors, hit OK, and there you go. And if you want to move this, the only thing I don't like about this program is about moving stuff. I wish I could just grab it and move it, but it doesn't let you. You actually have to hit edit points, which is to move, and you grabbed it, and then you can move it. And it's not as fluid as everything else, but still quick. But I don't use text very that much, so that's also personal preference. And you can always, if you want to just get rid of it, just select it and hit delete on your keyboard. It'll say delete this annotation. You hit yes. You could draw lines that signify maybe there's a breakpoint. You could just, maybe that's a phase, and you could say, oh, this is a phase 1, and then you could put text here. If you want to highlight things and maybe there's something that jumps out, you click 1, drag it over, and then it highlights it. You can change this color too. You can change the background color. change it to blue, whatever your heart desires. And it's pretty cool when you have text on the drawings. You say, let's come over here and, you know, just highlight this, say, hey, this is important. And there you go. You could do oval shapes. I normally don't do this, but, you know, there's an option there. Like I said, you can add drawing links. You can add freehand notation. You can do add cloud notations. You can go around stuff. It's pretty cool. Maybe there's you can do that. You can actually highlight stuff too, and I've never really used this before, but it's a cool feature too. You can, you know, highlight straight through. It is freehand, as you can tell. It started to curve, but it's a cool feature too. You could do dimensions, so you can see this is a 3/16 scale. I could come over here and I kind of want to see the distance of the column lines. So this is telling me this is 4.82 feet, and you know it'll stay there until you delete it. But it's a cool feature too. You can add polygon notations there. You know, it's pretty cool. You can use something like this. A lot of these tools you're not gonna end up using, but the program is very smooth, very fast, and reliable. I probably had it crash on me a few times in the 3 years I've used it, and sometimes there's like a break in the communication with the program. The Accubid and LiveCount. It does happen. So this is a gist of that, and you're probably wondering, oh yeah, what's all this information over here? Well, this is your control panel, and you can add all these different layers to this. So if we put them all on, and some of these I've never even used before because there's just so much here. If you got a view, you can jump to a view and name them there. All you gotta do is press the button, add the view, and then you can start naming a bunch of views, and like basically you would zoom in, you can name that view, and maybe you need to go back to this, I don't know, like a couple days later, or it could be, you could put important, come back to this, and it kind of tells you, okay, where did I see that at? And you click it and it jumps to the drawing and a certain area. So it's a pretty cool feature. I don't use it often. As we go down, I'm going to start lowering these windows. Traces, you got all the different traces. There's so much to this program, it can take hours to explain. So I'm going to kind of go through these, and I'm going to start closing these as we go. There's different views. You can change this 90 degrees, 180 degrees. Basically, you're rotating this around. Filter. You can filter out certain systems and whatnot. That's a really cool feature too. Bird's eye. I mean, to be honest, I don't know what this is besides an overall view of the floor plan, and it kind of shows you in this blue little box where you're looking at. I don't know. I don't see how that's important to me. Maybe in a civil drawing, maybe you're getting lost. I don't know. So we'll X that one out. Global defaults and favorites. That's, like I said, this is things that you could put in here for your favorites. Your project folder, that's your drawing tree. There's the main drawing itself, and then all the drawings that come with it. And essentially, it's the same thing that you see here. Your measurement summary, that's going to be everything that you're taking off. Very, very useful. I keep this one on myself, along with quantity list, and I'm going to leave these alone up here. Your measurement edits, your drawing list, I'm going to close that one out. And then your layers. So similar to what I was showing you about the bold, these are all on. This means you did use these layers in this job. You're able to turn these off. So there's like a layer displayed for user. You can turn these on and off. Maybe you just want to see a certain system, and sometimes the architects or the engineers, they might throw in all the low voltage on one drawing, and then you have to take it off, and you might confusing yourself when you're maybe doing conduit runs for different things. You could turn it off, and then you could start drawing on one system only, then turn it off, and then start a new system. So if you had, let's see, maybe you got television, or you got nurse call, or you got fire alarm, whatever might be showing on the drawings. And then you have your auto count, which I am not going to do that video. It is very confusing. I figured it out, but it's not, I mean, it's reliable. I'm not going to say it's not reliable, but it's time consuming. Yeah, I'm gonna say 100%. It is a little time consuming to use it. The way I take off things, I'm more strategic when I take off things, and if it takes me 5 minutes later 5 minutes longer to take off something like fixtures, it's fine. My theory about doing that is when I'm zooming in and I'm taking off things, click, 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 I'm also learning what this space is. This is a chief's office. Okay, it's an office. He got a display here. There's some kind of display here. There's a typical receptacle. I am gathering knowledge of this place just in case certain things happen. I need to know maybe elevations change or grid types. I'm getting more in depth with this job and I'm more understanding. When you do auto count, you're gonna be this far. All you're seeing is an overall floor plan. You don't even know what these rooms do, why they use them. I like to understand what the space is being used for and know what I'm taking off. And that's what I'm trying to say here. So I know this video is getting very long and I'm gonna try to wrap it up. Like I said, these are all up here as well. There are a few different things that you don't got, so I'm gonna go through them fairly quick. You should know every job. You gotta create new job and open, save. You can save them as TIFF files, convert to TIFF files. You can download multiple drawings. There's windows. You could do a backup. You could do a restore. All typical things you pretty much see with a program. Edit, undo, cut, copy, paste. If you got something on a clipboard. View, basically those are your bars that you're seeing right here, the toolbars. Drawing, same thing like other one. You can rotate them, you can rename them, you can do an image enhancement, which I've never done before. I've never seen this actually not come unhighlighted yet. Zoom in, zoom out, compare drawings. Now, this is the one you gotta. This is the key one because it took me a while to figure this one out. When you get addendums, this is how you do it. Compare to new drawings. It's very easy. Click it. You wanna, and we could do this. We could just say that's the new drawing, right? You hit align. It's gonna go compare. Give it a second, because what it does, it just opens it up only, and it auto defaults to the first drawing. I think almost every program does that. You want to leave this alone so you know, because you can actually move this around after you put it in here. So when you hit OK, this will pop up. Now we know that we're on page 52 of the original floor plan, and now the new one is also going to be 52, because I just copied the same, I brought in the same one. So we're going to say this is 52. As soon as you click it, it's going to load it up. Depending on how much data is in these PDFs, it might take a little second longer. So it did. If you put this to the side, you could just zoom out, look around, make sure everything's lined up. This is lined up exactly the way it is. Now you can click here and move it if you want, and you see it gets blue is, you can change the colors too. Blue is new and red is old. So if you know the CAD people were playing with this and they actually moved a little bit, it will give you that 3D looking effect, and then you got to kind of like shift stuff around and whatnot. And then when you're done, you hit OK, and you're pretty much done. You can rotate it if you need to rotate it. Most of the time you're never going to use this. Hit OK. So you have two drawings overlaid, and this is the same exact drawing. It's showing you everything exactly the same. Now when you right click in here, right click anywhere but on top of an object, because you're going to get a different menu. So there's nothing here, this was going to pop up. So if you hover over this, you can do show old as old and new, show old only, show new only, and give an emphasis on old or new, or you could just completely hide the comparison. Very cool feature. Addendums, don't even worry about it. Highlight them, they pop out. And the cool feature of this, obviously, if they didn't bubble everything and you start seeing all these receptacles brand new everywhere, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. And you know you covered yourself, you're going to take off all the receptacles, and you might want to tell the GC, hey, they made tons of corrections everywhere, so I'm just letting you know if my number is a little higher, I'm seeing like 50 receptacles everywhere with new circuits, and you know I want to be on the same playing field as the rest of the electricals. And he goes, oh, you know, noted, I might send out an RFI to everybody. So it's a really cool feature to have. I love this. It's very fast. Okay. Drawing dimensions, auto count, options. Here is some really, you can get really in depth in this. So set drawing scale, that's the same scales. I'm not going to go over that again. But you see there's a set detail scale. This is really cool. So if you have, let's say you got a drawing. I don't have nothing on here, but let's say there was a detail, and this detail was 1/8 of an inch, but our scale is a 3/16. So what you can actually do is you can create a box for this and set a detail scale just for that. Very cool. Love this feature. You click add, and we're just gonna say this is Chief's office. You want to select the scale, so in this case we're saying it was, I think it was a 1/8, and we're making this up. It's in inches. 1 inch equals the 1/8. Actual is feet, and there's your scale. Now before you hit OK, you have to set your border. You can set your border. You're gonna click once, drag it over, and you just click it and then click it again, and now your border is set. Now if you didn't have a scale to go by, maybe you needed they're only giving you a door, you can hit Calibrate and you can like zoom in and just say, hey, I know this door is at least 36 inches. So we can come over here and say that, and we're gonna say actual distance. We're gonna say 3 for 36 inches, and then we're gonna say that's 3 feet. Oh, 1 second. Oh, because I had the box over it, so it won't let you do it. So you can't do both at the same time. You just gotta do one to another. So we're gonna do this really quick. Add, say Chief's office. Hit the scale. 1/8. Hit OK. I'm sorry. Set the border. Okay. Overlaps. Oh, because I got stuff hidden on here. Sorry. Let's set the border. There's nothing over here. So we'll say this is that. Hit OK. So there you go. Shows you there's your detail. So when you take off stuff in this box, it's going to be set at the 1/8 scale regardless of what this says up here. Very cool feature. Love it. There are times where there's 4 different details on a drawing and it's got 4 different scales. Happens. Edit standard scales. You can edit these. You can add scales. Totally up to your discretion. You can actually edit your traces. So a trace is essentially your systems. So I custom did all mine. You probably used some, didn't use some. You're gonna have your count features, your lengths for your branch, your CCTV counts. If you click in here and hit edit, you can edit every single thing in here. You can make it an area, a length, a perimeter. The points is when you're counting. You can change the shapes, sizes, if it's text size, if it's a line, the width of the lines. If you want to do some fills, you could do fills. If you want to change the layer of that, you can change the layer. So many things you can do with this. Very cool. And you could do this for every single system. You can add, you can edit. Very cool feature. So one thing to keep in mind is these are 2 programs, and when you jump into Accubid and you're selecting a system, to make sure everything matches right, it's very easy. If I pick fixtures, I want to jump into here and make sure there is also something called fixtures. And it's just, it keeps the 2 linked together. You don't have to worry about fixtures being placed in something else. It just keeps everything categorized. I might be anal, but I like my stuff to look like this. And user discretion, it's up to you. Okay, so let's close. We'll go back in here. Same thing, your layers. It's basically it's your systems all over again, and this time it's you can turn things on, turn things off. You can add all, like I said, add all your systems. You don't have to worry about it. It's easy to turn things on and off. And like I said, I look right here. I noticed something. I got 2 of these, so I'm deleting that. Everything else should be good. Cancel. Here's another cool feature that I've learned about in probably last week. Yeah, I'll say about last week. Here's are all the symbols that come pre-packaged with LiveCount. Now, you can create new symbols. It's kind of difficult, but if you got symbols there, you could just basically copy it. Now, I did that for one. I thought it was a cool symbol, an OS sensor. Now, it's not for everybody. I think these shapes, there's like maybe 7 or 8 of them. It's more than enough to use for the drawing. But if you're in the design build business, this is great. You can set, you got a blank floor plan, you can put switches, duplex symbols, and you can make these all. And you could put circuit numbers, you could create your own floor plan. Now, if it was me, I would just do it in AutoCAD really quick. I get the floor plan, I'll put all my symbols there, my circuit numbers, and then I might use LiveCount to kind of like do my takeoff and stuff like that. But that's my personal opinion. But if you want to do everything on one drawing, totally up to you. But this is great. You could come in here and you can edit these. I would leave them alone. I got 2 of them. Here's like a USB. Here's like an OS sensor. What you can do is you can hit drag new, and you're gonna see this pop up. Drag a rectangle around the point symbol you wish to add. Now, let's say I got a brand new symbol that I've never seen before, and here, TV. Click and hold, drag over. Make it look more lined up as best as possible you can get to get this image. And then there you go. There's your new symbol. You hit continue. And we're going to call this the TV outlet. Hit add. Now this is permanently down here. If I jump back into my desktop, and I'm going to say this is television now. Should have television somewhere. There you go. And I'm going to go to my television systems, and I'm going to say it's one of my chief back boxes just for demonstration purposes. And as you can see, auto launches it, and you can't see it, but it's activated in LiveCount. So I'm going to jump back into LiveCount, and I'm going to take it off and right click, return quantity estimate, and it's done. I'm going to hit OK on the other screen really quick. Now, if I want to change this dot to be this same symbol, you can do that. You can hit edit trace, drop this down, go all the way to the bottom, and there it is. You can change the color. It's basically going to change the vector lines, is what they're called. And that's it. It's not going to make this all green and highlight and everything like that. So you're going to see here. Hit OK, and then there's a little symbol. You can make this bigger. Let me move this over, and I'll just right click, edit trace, and we'll say it's, maybe another 50 points. It might be the same size, 150. Oh, almost. But you get the gist. You can create your own symbols, and this is great. Design build, this is fantastic. You can probably, and I'm not, hopefully nobody gets in trouble for this, but you can actually go to, let me go to the main drawing, the electrical symbol list. Well, is it at the end? I haven't looked at this in a while. Oh, it's at the end. If you wanted to just use somebody's things for reference, like receptacles, you can come in here and copy every single thing and name it what it is, as long as you remember what it is, all the switches and everything. Spend maybe an hour doing this, and then now you got your own custom symbol list for your design build. Very cool. I like that. I like that feature. I haven't really used it that much because I just use dots and triangles and circles, with no fill and whatnot. So very cool feature. I don't use these too much. Export, import. If you had something else, you can do that. You could set an ID. You could do user preferences. You can do in here you can change your basically your settings on here. Your line scrolling, zoom in and out, you know, how fast you zoom in and out. All these little things you can mess with. If you want crosshairs, you could do crosshairs. Close up, how many pixels you want to zoom in, zoom percentages. It's endless in the amount of things you can do here. You can even select your new project folders and whatnot. Files, there's use LiveCount to handle plan files, OX files, automatically PF to TIFF files. Bunch of things you can do here too. If you wanted to convert to like it's black and white, or I say monochrome, it's just variations of whites and blacks all the way to, you know, gray, white, gray to black. You could change your opacity, change it the banding for the mouse. There's so many things you can do in here. I'm not going to go into depth. Now I'm going to tell you one thing right here. This adjust trace line width for printer resolution. Now this does not work. Trimble owes me a phone call on this one. They're trying to figure out why it doesn't work. Now when you click this and hit OK, you're going to get prompted with this: enter an integer between 1 and 16. And then it jumps to this other one. Import. No matter what you do, it will not get past the screen. It'll just keep saying enter 1 through 16. They're trying to figure out what's wrong with that. I don't know what it is. I can't help you guys on this one. But the only way to get out of this screen, you can't even get out. You got to hit cancel. It's the only way of getting out. Like I said, so auto count, you can change the colors on this. You just read it. Background color, we're not selected. White. It's a lot of the stuff is kind of self-explanatory. Your import, like I was saying, what you're importing. Backup, you want to put your backups in a specific file. Just select auto backup projects, the folder below, and select it. Hints are to help you when you don't know how to do something. Points. I haven't used this much. Use advanced points editing. Never really used this too much. But it's some of this stuff you want to get really nitty gritty into the program, you can get into this. Security settings, that's your basically your dongle where you're getting your license key from. Maybe if it's not working, you can jump in there and check. Network proxy settings, I don't use this at all. I don't think anybody even uses these anymore. So yeah, so that's the introduction of LiveCount Desktop Pro. It's very fast. Let me know if you guys want any help or any kind of pointers on this. I know this was a long and dry video. Next video we'll just take some stuff off, show you how to change things in a little bit more in depth. And yeah, look out for the next video. Thanks for watching.